Alright, so we're gonna look at the first quizzes and see if we can make a little key here for make it a little easier to study these things. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the first quiz, which was here, this one on position. So you have the drive quiz on position graphs. Open that up. And I guess we'll put in names here. And we'll just say Miller. And then for our secret code, we'll say best guess here. Let's see how we do. Okay, number one, where is Bob at t equals 6 seconds? Well, it looks like if we move over here to 6 seconds, it would appear that Bob is at 0 meters. We'll notice that this is a position graph, so that this graph is showing exactly where Bob is at various times. So at 6 seconds, we can say with some confidence that Bob is at 0 meters. How much distance did Bob travel from 0 to 6 seconds? Well, it looks like Bob traveled a distance of from 0 up to 9, and then from 9 back down to 0. So we could say that that was 18 meters. When did Bob turn around? It looks like he turned around at 3 seconds. Here he's moving a positive direction, moving away at 9 meters. At this point at 3 seconds, he turns around and starts coming back towards the origin. So it looks like he turns around at 3 seconds. If we look now, when is Bob standing still? Well, it looks like he's standing still from about 9 seconds over to 12 seconds. Since his position's not changing, it's -9 that whole time. So we'll go ahead and say that. What's Bob's velocity at 2 seconds? Well, at 2 seconds, he's moving away from the origin, and so we want to look at this, perhaps look at the slope a little bit. So I'm going to copy the image and put it over here, and then we can take a look at what's happening there at 2 seconds, because what we want to see is that over these first 3 seconds, looks like he, over 3 seconds went from the origin up to 9 meters. So if we think of this here in a slope, so we have a slope here that's going to be given by the rise over the run, which is a 9 meters here. We had a 9 meters run over a 3-second time interval. So it's pretty clear that the slope here is going to be 3 because that's 9 divided by 3. So we get 3 meters per second, and that's a positive value. You can see the slope's going upward, so we have a positive value for the velocity. We can look ahead here, and we can see that in this area it's coming downward. We have the same rise over run here. Again, we have 3 seconds, but this time because it's coming down 9 meters, we can say here that the slope of this line is going to be a -3 meters per second. And so we're pretty confident that the slope here, which gives the velocity, will be -3. And you can see that that will continue all the way through here if they happen to ask us about that. So now we can go back to the quiz, and it looks like it's saying what's Bob's velocity at 2 seconds, and so we can see that it would be a +3 meters per second. His velocity at 4 seconds, 4 seconds is when he was on his way back down, and so that would be the -3 meters per second. Okay, what's Bob's speed at 4 seconds? Well, his speed is irrespective of which direction he's going, so it's going to be +3 meters per second instead of negative. Speed is the absolute value of the velocity, if that makes it a little easier. His speed at 6 seconds, also going to be, at 6 seconds, even though he's back at the origin, he's still moving, and so his velocity is still -3, but his speed's going to be +3. When is Bob's going backwards? He's going backwards whenever his velocity is negative, and we saw earlier that's from 3 seconds to, say, 9 seconds, which appears to be this one. And then how far did Bob travel during the 12 seconds? So the total distance traveled during 12 seconds. So he went from 0 up to 9, so there's 9. Then he went from +9 all the way back to -9, and then he stood still. So it looks like a 9 plus an 18. So I guess we'll say 27. And let's see how we did here. Let's see if this spreadsheet works this morning. And we're looking, it looks like a lot of people took this. And hopefully we can look down. Here's all your scores. And best guess, looks like we got 10 out of 10. So that turned out nicely. Hope that helped a little bit.